Before we begin, take 1 second right now. Hit the subscribe button and stay with this channel, because stories like this one are not just about coins, they are about power, timing, history, and the quiet opportunities most people walk past every single day. Picture this for a moment. You're holding a small, ordinary-looking coin in your hand. It's not gold. It doesn't shine like a trophy. It doesn't scream wealth. Most people would glance at it, toss it into a drawer, or spend it without a second thought. But this particular coin has survived political change, economic pressure, and a turning point in a nation's identity. And for the man who understands what he's holding, this coin becomes something else entirely. It becomes a story. It becomes leverage. It becomes value hidden in plain sight. Today we're talking about the South Africa 20-cent coin from 1993. And if you think you already know what this coin is about, stay with me, because the real power of this piece is not on the surface. It's buried in timing, symbolism, and survival. 1993 was not just another year. For South Africa, it was the calm before the storm, the final breath before a complete transformation. The old system was collapsing. The new future had not fully arrived yet. Uncertainty filled the air. Businesses hesitated. Governments negotiated behind closed doors. And right in the middle of this historic pressure cooker, this small 20-cent coin was minted. Coins like this don't just represent money. They represent authority. They represent who is in control at that exact moment in history. In 1993, South Africa stood at the edge of one of the most significant political transitions of the 20th century. The decisions made during this period reshaped the country forever. And this coin was part of that final chapter. When you hold this coin, you are holding something created during the last phase of an era. After 1993, nothing would ever be the same again. Currency designs would evolve. National identity would shift. Symbols would be reevaluated. That makes this coin a witness, a survivor, a silent observer of history. Now let's talk craftsmanship, because this is where experienced eyes start to slow down. The 20-cent coin of this period carries a weight and feel that modern coins simply don't replicate. The metal composition reflects practical durability rather than flashy appearance. It was made to circulate, to endure pockets, hands, markets, and years of use. That durability is why many of these coins still exist today. But here's the twist. Survival alone doesn't guarantee value. Context does. Men who understand assets know this rule well. It's not about how common something looks. It's about when it was made, why it was made, and what happened immediately after. In 1993, South Africa was preparing to close one door and open another. Coins produced during such moments often carry long-term interest because they represent the last issue under a fading system. Think about it like this. Imagine owning the final tool used before a factory permanently shut down, or the last official document signed before a government changed forever. The object itself might look ordinary, but its position in time makes it powerful. This coin circulated during tension and anticipation. People used it daily without realizing that the world around them was about to change dramatically. Markets were unstable. Emotions were high. Hope and fear existed side by side. And still, this coin moved quietly from hand to hand. Witnessing it all, collectors and seasoned observers understand something important here. Coins tied to transitional years attract attention not because of hype, but because history cannot be repeated. You can mint millions of coins, but you can never mint another 1993. Now, let's slow down and talk directly to you. If you're between 35 and 65, you've lived long enough to know that real value often hides behind patience. You've seen trends rise and fall. You've seen investments that looked foolish at first turn into solid wins later. Coins like this speak to that mindset. They reward those who pay attention, not those chasing noise. The South Africa 20-cent 1993 coin doesn't beg for attention. It waits. It waits for the right eyes, the right knowledge, the right moment. That alone should tell you something, that there's also the psychological side of this coin that many people overlook. During times of national change, money becomes emotional. It represents stability when everything else feels uncertain. For many South Africans, these coins were part of daily survival during an unpredictable period. That emotional connection adds an invisible layer of importance that charts and numbers can't fully explain. And here's where suspense quietly builds. Not all 1993 coins are equal. Condition matters. Preservation matters. Whether it's circulated heavily or was set aside matters. The smallest differences can separate an ordinary piece from one that draws serious attention. This is where experience comes in. This is where men who've spent years learning how value behaves begin to lean forward. You might be wondering why a 20-cent coin, of all things, deserves this level of attention. That question alone tells me you're thinking in the right direction. True opportunities rarely announce themselves loudly. They whisper. And if you're not listening carefully, you miss them. This coin belongs to a category that doesn't rely on trends or hype cycles. Its importance comes from history, timing, and survival. That combination ages well. Very well. As years pass, fewer clean examples remain. Coins get lost, damaged, forgotten. Interest doesn't disappear, it concentrates. And when interest concentrates, attention follows. Now imagine this coin sitting in a drawer for decades, untouched, or inherited without understanding its background, or rediscovered by someone who suddenly realizes they're holding a fragment of a nation's turning point. That realization changes everything. What makes this story even more compelling is how underestimated this coin still is. Many people focus on larger denominations, precious metals, or flashy commemoratives. Meanwhile, coins like this quietly build their reputation among those who study patterns rather than headlines. This is not about luck. This is about awareness. And awareness is what separates spectators from participants. If you've ever held on to something because it felt important, even when others dismissed it, you already understand the energy behind this coin. It carries that same quiet confidence. And we are not even at the most surprising part yet. Because at the end of this story, when everything comes together, when history, timing, survival, and demand intersect, the true value of this coin steps out of the shadows. Not imagined value, not emotional value, real, measurable value. But before we get there, it's important to understand why moments like 1993 leave permanent fingerprints on everyday objects. Coins don't forget where they came from. They carry their era with them forever. So stay with me. Don't rush. Let this story unfold properly, because the final reveal only matters if you understand the journey that led to it. If you're still watching right now, you're exactly the kind of viewer this story is meant for. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the script and move closer to the final reveal?